إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا وبعد. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. Respected ulama, elders, brothers and sisters, beloved youth, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. After thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending salutations on our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we want to further take the opportunity of appreciating not only the opportunity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us to be here today, but the fact that, more importantly, the fact that He has made us Muslims. And the gratitude which we show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for having made us Muslims is to adhere and to conform to what He has sent in the Quran and what our Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has come with in the form of His Sunnah, by way of action, words, and what the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has allowed. When discussing the topic today, naturally what the speakers do, they look at the time of the year they are in, they look at what is happening around them, what are the issues that are conflicting the ummah in this particular time, and they choose to tackle those matters in light of Quran and Hadith, and perhaps giving some advice and explanation on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam have given us as guidance. A very similar thing happened for me to decide on today's topic. Those of you who received the WhatsApp message will know that the topic for today, or the discussion that we will be taking on today, is like, share and follow an Islamic perspective. Initially the topic wasn't that. Initially the topic was social media in Islam. I thought that was a boring topic. Let's change it. Let's see how vibey, how active, how on our toes we can be when it comes to discussing these issues. And I say these issues because many times these issues are matters that are difficult for our youth to engage with. And then by extension, it becomes difficult for our adults to engage with the youth because they have to engage with these issues of social media. Now, these may be things that we've heard before. And I'm not here to tell you don't be on social media. Nor am I here to tell you that social media is completely haram. But what I am here to tell you today is that we need to be more conscious when we use these platforms as Muslims. Because everything a Muslim does, he does with a difference. When we wake up in the morning, we don't just wake up. We say, Alhamdulillah, alladhi ahyana ba'da ma amatana wa ilayhi nushur. Billions of people are waking up every day, but it's the Muslims that are thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving them life after death. It is a Muslim that when he looks in the mirror, billions of people, many times a day are looking into the mirror. But it is a Muslim that thanks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahumma anta hassanta khalqi fahassin khuluqi. Oh Allah, you have beautified my appearance, so beautify my conduct. It is a Muslim that is looking into the mirror in that way. And in every juncture in the life of a Muslim, he is taking the opportunity of conscientizing himself, remembering the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his life. And this is what makes our actions pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what actually prompted me to discuss this today? Over the past month, we know we've had the festive season, people were supposed to be making merry, and people were enjoying themselves, people were on holiday and on leave, and so on and so forth. But so many issues of anxiety and depression have come out in my presence over this festive season that I thought, let me apply myself and consider why has this increased, and I proceeded to do some research and investigation, which shouldn't be a surprise to us, on how this anxiety and depression has increased in our Muslim community. One of the major factors that has contributed to anxiety and depression, and I mentioned here before, is this thing called expectation. When our expectations are not met, they lead to disappointments, and these disappointments lead eventually to depression if we don't have a way to deal with them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the understanding and the guidance, inshaAllah. So when I researched this, I found an interesting fact that depression and anxiety increased not only in the Muslims, all over the world. It increased when smartphones were introduced. The introduction of smartphones has a great correlation to the increasing of anxiety and depression around the world. And I thought, let's go and investigate this a little bit further. When we look at stats of social media, we find that around the world, there are about 3.5 billion active users of social media around the world. Understand that statistic very clearly. 3.5 billion active social media users around the world. That is just under half of the population. And when I try to understand why it would seem that it should be more than that, it was because there were so many duplicate accounts or so many people inactive for a long time that those statistics didn't come to the fore. But nonetheless, 3.5 billion active users of social media around the world. Of those, 2.3 billion of those users are Facebook users, active Facebook users. Amongst them, they divided them according to their age group to see who accesses these forms of social media. Millennials, 90%, Generation X, 77.5%, baby boomers, obviously the young ones, people coming to start using social media, was about 48%. It is stated that about 3 hours, on average 3 hours per day, an individual spends 3 hours per day only on social media, on average. 3 hours per day on social media. But there were positives that came out of the study. People who had businesses, individuals who had businesses and large corporations reported from their marketing point of view that they found that the customer experience on Facebook was a much more real experience, that people could engage with their companies, people were able to interact with their businesses in a more relaxed and comfortable setting, and they felt more comfortable doing this. So there were certain advantages. 73% of the marketers said that it has proven to be an effective tool for their business. They found it to be an effective tool for their business when marketing on Facebook and other social media platforms. One last statistic I want to go before getting into the nitty-gritty of all of this and the consequences of all of this, is that they found that 91%, well, there wasn't much of a finding, they just read the statistic, 91% of the users of social media are using social media on their mobile devices. 91% of people are using social media on their mobile devices. Now you have just a very general understanding of what's happening in the social media world, and I think it's important to set a pretext for our discussion that will follow, inshallah. Let me take your mind, perhaps to a memory of your own, or a story that you've heard from a friend. And if it's a story of your own, perhaps to your own history. When you open social media, and you perhaps opened a platform like Facebook, and you saw your friend, Qasim, from back in the day, you used to play cricket with him when you were teenagers. Now you are 40 or 45 or 50, and Qasim, you have not seen him. Now, you bumped into him once in the supermarket, and whatever the case is, mashallah, he was doing okay. Qasim was doing okay. In fact, you decided when you met him that you told him, I'm going to invite you on Facebook. And he said, yeah, that's good, but let's stay in touch. There was no real intention. He was like, I was fine without you my whole life. I don't see why I need to add you now, but let's be nice and let's add you on Facebook. When you add me, I'll accept your request. So he accepted his request. These friends never met for a long time. You never met this friend Qasim for a long time. After 5 years, you saw he started posting again on Facebook. And on Facebook, when he started posting that his wife just had a baby, maybe their second child. He got a new job, he got a car, he got a nice car, he upgraded from his little small car, he got a much more, expensive car. And so you watched him, and you didn't know what to make of these thoughts. Perhaps you were aware and you said, Alhamdulillah, Qasim is doing well, may Allah grant him barakah. But slightly within people, there is this understanding and this notion that, wow, Qasim is my age. What am I doing wrong? How did Qasim get such a happy family? Why does his wife look so pretty in that photo in his profile picture? Why are his children they look so educated and so well dressed and they're going to this school and that school? And you start subconsciously comparing your life to Qasim's life. And what tends to happen is, they found, this is a real statistic, they found that the more active people are on social media, the more lonely and the more lonely they find themselves in real life. And so you started following Qasim and you started wondering, what is he doing? Eventually you thought, this guy makes money and perhaps I need to touch base with him. Maybe he can send some business my way. And so you made contact with him, you met him for a cup of coffee and you wondered and you thought to yourself, no man, this guy's fantastic, what am I doing wrong? You started looking up to him. But you know what? Everything that Qasim was doing, Qasim in his house was fighting with his wife, he was beating his wife, he was abusing his wife. He told his wife, come stand here for this Facebook profile picture now. And she just came to stand next to him. He said, no, this picture doesn't work for us. Change the picture, smile, put a smile on your face now. We cannot show the world what's going on. Come, smile now. Hey, you, boy, girl, smile. And they smiled and everybody stood and you saw their family picture, but you didn't know what was happening in the background of Qasim's life. All you understood was he's enjoying his life. You got caught up in making Qasim your yardstick in life. You started measuring your success against Qasim's success, not knowing that Qasim in fact is not successful. He is unsuccessful. And you started allowing your mind to go and to drift. And the minute you got your own vehicle, forget that it was not the greatest vehicle, but it was a better vehicle than you had before. The first thing you did was, you put it on Facebook. You put your sunglasses on, you put the window down, you had a sunroof, you put the sunroof up, and you were looking all so cool on Facebook. Qasim must know I'm going places. Qasim must know I'm going places. And if Qasim's wife also sees me on Facebook, because she was also at our school when we were younger, she must also know she chose the wrong man. I am the greatest success. This is starting to happen in our minds. This is starting to happen. This is real. From a psychological perspective, this is what's happening in people's minds. And you know what? You put this on, and what results comes from that is that other people, you were not focusing on Abdullah. You were focusing on Qasim. But Abdullah is also your friend on Facebook. And Abdullah started seeing you post your things on Facebook. And he started seeing you show off. And he started following in the same way. What are you doing to become so successful? Where do you want to go in your life? And he wanted to meet up with you for coffee. And he wanted to see why are your children so happy all of a sudden. You see, so the cycle goes on. And what we create, and I've taken out a few topics that's just one scenario. I'm not even going to those that are the pedophilia that is happening that results from those things. I'm not even looking at the negative, the people that are stalking other people. I'm not even looking at that. I'm just looking at for you, because I cannot switch Facebook off on your phone. But I can tell you that as a Muslim, as someone that is looking at this, what does Islam have to say about how conscious and how aware we are about what is happening within our lives, within ourselves, within our souls? What is going to purify and what is distracting and dirtying our souls? So that when we come out of this, we don't know what has hit us. Whether we are Arthur or Martha, at the end of the day, we go to the doctor, we need Prozac, we need tablets for depression. We need advice to go to a psychologist. someone who must sit there and listen, how are you feeling now? Are you okay? Okay, tell me more about this in your life. They just hear your conversation. You are there just there to talk and talk and talk and talk. And eventually they say, $900 please. For talking. Gee whiz. So this is becoming very expensive. Not all Muslims can afford it. And everybody thinks that that is the only solution. But there is a way to intervene before it reaches that stage. If only we looked at the Quran and Hadith, if only we understood what is happening within us. So when we are involved in the social media, let us be aware of the dangers for Muslims within the social media platforms. There is the issue of riyah. The issue of riyah, showing off. Islam speaks at length against riyah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about it in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُمْ وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسَ وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about doing things for show of other people. So if you are a Facebook user and you are putting yourself, and you know what? Let me just say this before I go further with regards to the issue of riyah. You will always be tempted to post a nice picture of yourself. You will always be tempted because that is your nafs, it is your ego stroking you. Every time someone clicks like, it's like you are stroking a cat. And you know the cat, when you stroke it, it purrs. You might as well purr also every time someone clicks like. Because at the end of the day, you are doing that to your ego. You are just stroking the ego. No one can sit here in the Jama'ah and says when someone tells you, you look fantastic, that you don't feel good about that. You are designed psychologically to feel good about that. It's how you handle that good feeling. Does it go to your head and then all of a sudden you cannot control the arrogance and pride that ensues? No. You need to understand as a Muslim to be aware of it. إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهِ وَهُوَ خَادِعُونَ. The munafiq, they want to deceive Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is really deceiving them. Because they cannot ever deceive Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ. When they come to salah, قَامُوا كُسَالَى. They come lazily to salah. يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسِ. They want to show people how they are coming to stand for salah. وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. They remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not except by a little bit. Except a little bit they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But they really on the musalla for show. How many times have we seen? We go to Makkah, and I'm not picking fingers here, pointing fingers. We go to Makkah, we want people to know we are by the Kaaba. They have to know we are by the Kaaba. And I'm not saying don't take photos by the Kaaba or whatever, but it goes all over. So I'm by the Kaaba. Just know that I'm by the Kaaba. You're walking the wrong way, Tawaf is going that way, you're walking that way, except if you go on social media. Because you are so distracted by this photo that you want to take of the Kaaba. So we need to understand, why do we need the world to see our ibadah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about it in the Quran. Those who are doing their ibadah to show people only. But they don't remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala illa qalila, except a little bit. The hypocrites think that they are deceiving Allah. But you are not deceiving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are different stages. I'm not going to go into all of it now. There are different stages of riyah. There are people who do their ibadah, just in idea. There are people who display their religious beliefs and show their religious knowledge. Everybody on Facebook is a mufti. I must tell you that I Googled so and so and so, and I'm authorized. I am by the authority that Facebook has given me. I can put on Facebook any fatwa that I read on the internet. We can tell anybody anything without verification. Do you know that they said one of the statistics that came out is that more than 65% of the news that people receive, they receive from social media. Now, seriously, any dictum and Hari has access to that thing. But they can put news there, they can govern how we think, they can control how we think, and we just follow the social media as if though it is dinkum. There are those that want to demonstrate their piety and virtuous deeds so that people can see that this is pious, they can entrust them with certain things. There are those individuals who do the performance of their prescribed actions, even their fara'id, they go and they put it on Facebook so that people can see that they are busy with their fara'id. I mean, really, why are we doing this? Why are we seeking the attention so much? It is also stated, just an interesting fact to note while I'm busy mentioning this, is that Facebook, social media platforms, deploy or employ what they call attention engineers. And these attention engineers are only seeking ways and means to get your attention towards their social media platforms. They have attention engineers. They know that you use 8 hours a day for sleep, or 6 hours a day for sleep. They know you must eat 3 times a day. They know you must go to work for so many hours a day. And they are looking for all the free time you have in your life. Because when they have your attention, they can sell that space to somebody who wants to market to you at that particular time. And when they want to market to you, so the more attention they have of yours, the greater they can charge for that space. So they've exhausted all the free time you have, and they decided, now we need to tap into the sleeping time. They cannot tap into your eating time because you'll die. They cannot tap into your breathing time because you'll die. So they can only tap into your sleeping time. So we find people till late hours, early hours of the morning, surfing social media, looking at other people's lives, what they are doing, only making themselves bitter and morbid before they sleep. And then they wake up in the morning, I had such a bad dream, you know. Obviously you had a bad dream. You only went to sleep in a negative state. You didn't say, Allahumma bi'ismika mutu wa ahya. Everything was about Facebook. So where are we going to with this understanding? The second thing is, when people start liking ours, now we had Riyah, we started to show off what we have on Facebook. And there was so much of Riyah. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, actually, let me just tell you this. The Prophet, there's a hadith narrated by Sayyid al-Khudri radiallahu ta'ala, and who reports that the message of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam entered upon us while we were discussing the false Messiah, you know. And he said, shall I not tell you about what I fear for you more than the presence of the false Messiah? More than the false Messiah? Shall I not tell you of what I fear for you more than the presence of the false Messiah? Now you know, when the Dajjal comes, it's not a joke. The Prophet ﷺ has spent a long time speaking about the dangers of that particular period of time. But he says, what I fear for you more, he says, the Sahaba said, we said, of course, the Prophet ﷺ said, I fear hidden idolatry. Hidden idolatry. That a man stands for prayer and he beautifies his prayer because he sees another man looking at him. He says, I fear for you more that you reach a point where a man will stand for his salah and he will beautify his salah because someone else is watching him. May Allah protect us from this, inshallah. Another thing, once we put it on social media, now the issue of pride and arrogance creeps in. Because people start liking, people start commenting, people start putting smiley faces and hearts and thumbs up and everything, and you feel fantastic. It is great for your ego. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَلَا تَمْشِي فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرْحًا إِنَّكَ لَن تَخْرِقَ الْأَرْضَ وَلَن تَبْلُغَ الْجِبَالَ طُولًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, don't walk on the earth with insolence. Don't walk just like that on the earth, right? إِنَّكَ لَن تَخْرِقَ الْأَرْضَ with arrogance. Don't walk with pride on the earth. إِنَّكَ لَن تَخْرِقَ الْأَرْضَ وَلَن تَبْلُغَ الْجِبَالَ طُولًا. Because you will not be able to split the earth, nor will you be able to reach the mountains in its heights. So what are you doing, O mankind? You have been created من مليء يمنى ثم كان علقة فخلق فسوى. What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create you from? He created you from soil, from dust. From dust. And you will go back to that dust. And if we want to be more specific about it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you from a flowing semen, from semen. If you find semen on the ground now, it's dirty, you find it abhorrent. Yet, this same thing that makes you, constitutes you, you can walk proud on the earth as if though you mean everything to the dunya. You put it on Facebook, people must know that I'm here. Be careful of how you post and what you post on Facebook and your niyyah behind why you put something there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that as well, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, those who behave arrogantly on the earth, in defiance of what is right, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I will turn them away from my signs. I will turn them away from my signs. وَإِن يَرَوْا كُلَّ آيَةٍ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. They will not believe, even if they see the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they won't believe in these signs. لَا يُؤْمِنُوا بِهَا. They won't believe in the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because arrogance and pride has crept into their heart. May Allah protect us. وَإِن يَرَوْا سَبِيلَ الرُّشْدِ لا يتخذوه, and they see the right way, they will never take the right path. لا يتخذوه سبيلا, they will never choose that path as the right path because arrogance is in their heart. وَإِنْ يَرَوْا سَبِيلَ الْغَيِّ يَتَّخِذُوهُ سَبِيلًا. And when they see a false path, when they see something astray, they will take that as their path because arrogance. Why? Because arrogance. ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا وَكَانُوا عَنْهَا غَافِلِينَ. That is because they belied the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They denied it and they had arrogance and pride in their heart and they were unaware. They were just, we go through the earth without a care, with just negligent. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us, this that we put on Facebook, this that we are proud about, we must be careful. When that pride creeps in, not only will we lose friends and people around us, but we will lose the ability to see the truth. May Allah protect us from that. Al-Bukhari and Muslim narrated, may Allah be pleased with both of them, reported that the Prophet ﷺ says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not look on the day of judgment upon the person who drags his robe out of pride. In other words, that was what happened at that particular time, is how people expressed their pride. So anything, basically, that expresses pride in today's day and age, if you exhibit that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not look at you on the day of Qiyamah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us away from that. The next thing that happens is, you sitting with your friend, you now, and I've seen this happen so many times, we're sitting in a group of people, and everybody decides, we don't have a conversation filler anymore. Let's just pick up our phones and see what's cutting. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what's happening on social media. Right? So we open our phones, we have social media. Now it is a way of making conversation with our friends, because we have nothing more to say. Our intellectual capacity has been completely drained by the technology around us, so we cannot even find the words to say to someone who we regard as our friend. So what do? Is we say, check what this guy's up to. Oh my word. What happened? How can this guy do that? Now we start speaking about other people. We start backbiting. وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَن يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا فَكَرِهْتُمُوهُ. The Quran says, do not backbite one another. Would any of you like to consume the flesh of his dead Muslim brother? You would abhor it, says the Quran. You would dislike it, says the Quran. So why are you engaging in backbiting with one another? But this social media, you can't help it. I need to be the first one to tell. There's that sense of being the first. I don't know what the sense is. All of us have it. We want to be the first with the news. Almost as though it makes us more important if we are the first with the news. So when it goes out, check guys, did you see this? We're hoping they say, no, I didn't see that. Let me see. Then you regard yourself as important. But you are just backbiting one another. You are just making mischief. The Prophet Prophet's companion Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala, and he's quoted to have said that the Prophet ﷺ said, do you know what is backbiting? And they said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger know best. Then he said, it is to say something about your brother that if he were to find out about it, it would hurt him. So the Sahaba asked, Ya Rasulullah, what happens if it is true? What happens if it is true? The Prophet said, well, what you're saying is true about me, then it is backbiting. And if it is not true, then it is slander. If it is true, then it is still considered as backbiting. And if it is not true, then it is considered as slander. How many of us haven't been led down this path of ghibah, of backbiting, because we have not controlled how we view the content on social media? Then we have to look at one important thing about social media. We don't have a lot of time, but I want to go through these topics. They are all topics on their own, but it is important that we discuss them in the context, the dangers that are just particularly with social media. Then we have what we call, we all know it as hasad. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says, Al-hasadu ya'kul al-hasanati kama ta'kulu an-nar hataba. That jealousy destroys your good deeds like how fire burns wood into ash. Right? Now what happens when you see Qasim and his fantastic family? When you see Qasim and his family smiling and his new car and his big house and his fancy life, whether it's true or not true, what happens? Why is it for him and not for me? Why is it for him and not for me? Yet if you ask us in our sane minds, when we are away from social media, why do we have what we have? We will say, Allah gives who He wants. And He withholds from who He wants. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, أَمْ يَحْسُدُونَ النَّاسَ عَلَى مَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ فَقَدْ آتَيْنَا آلَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَآتَيْنَاهُمْ مُلْكًا عَظِيمًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, is mankind envious? Does mankind envy what God had given him of his bounty, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given off of his bounty? Is man envious of that by Allah's choice? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَقَدْ آتَيْنَا آلَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. We gave Ibrahim the book and the wisdom. وَآتَيْنَاهُمْ مُلْكًا عَظِيمًا. And we gave them a great kingdom and wisdom. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that He gives certain people bounties over others. Why are we envious? Why are we jealous? Why do we allow ourselves to go on these social medias and to create a negativity within ourselves? What happens when we become jealous of other people? We constantly try to wonder why they have. We wish bad upon them. Because we wish bad upon them because we want to have better than what they have. And we don't wish bad upon them, we want to have better than what they have. We're constantly in competition. We lose focus of our real purpose in life and we focus on someone else's purpose in their life and in their lives. And what starts to happen is when we don't reach this, we become victims of depression, become victims of anxiety. Because what happens? We cannot reach them. Every time we set our goal out of our reach. And constantly feeling like a loser, constantly feeling like we are not good enough, constantly feeling like Allah has deprived us, constantly feeling like Allah has neglected us, constantly feeling this feeling will lead to anxiety, obviously. It will lead to depression, obviously. But in reality, that is a false view of the world. That is not the case. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not neglected us. Therefore, it is important also for me to say this, and I'm sure you all know about it already. Before you sleep at night, when you're going to do anything, you have to recite قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ وَمِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ وَمِنْ شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ. You ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protection from the envious one at the time that they are practicing their envy. May Allah protect us, inshallah. Then we also have to look at the last 2 points, the evil eye. And I don't want to elaborate on it too much, but the evil eye is real, says the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, whoever among you sees something in himself or in his possessions or in his brother's possessions that he likes, let him pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for barakah. Let him pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for barakah in those things. Because the evil eye is real, says Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So brothers and respected elders, there are a few things that we need to be aware of. Riya, pride, ghiba, hasad, showing off, pride, backbiting, jealousy, the evil eye. These are things we need to be very aware of. And it's almost like I want to say that unless you have qualified and perfected your control over these aspects of your life, you should not actually go to Facebook. Because these things are not something you see coming. This is the shaitan working in such a hidden way. This is the shaitan working in such a hidden way to affect you. And in fact, I leave you with the last statistic where people have said, where doctors who have researched the effects of social media on communities, they have said that when we stop and we break our day to check on our social media, we have broken our ability to concentrate. And the more often we do that, the more often we break our ability to concentrate, the less able we will be in future to maintain that ability to focus and concentrate. So what happens after a while is you become an addict. And these researchers that are looking, these attention engineers, are taking these studies directly from Las Vegas casinos. How they keep people up, take the clock out, make it look the whole day like it's daytime. They take the research from those casinos to make sure that you are kept engaged in that platform, in those platforms. They couldn't care less about the riba. They couldn't care less about the hasad. They couldn't care less about what it does to your soul. They couldn't care less what it does to your akhirah, as long as they make their money from it. So when you engage in these social media platforms, be wary, be conscious, and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you and to make your actions good all the time, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.